and welcome back to another Artist Spotlight episode of Catch That, where we get to talk to artists about their new music and find out what influenced it. I am Naturally Elise, and that is my brother,
JR.
and we are the RB representatives. And today we have a very special guest. Well, all our guests are special, but a very special guest by the name of Miss Tamisha Waden. Hey.
Hi there. How are you?
Happy to see you.
Glad I can be seen and glad to be
Like my old bar customer used to say, it's better to be seen than viewed.
here. Viewed, absolutely.
Oh, I like that.
I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Old man fans, I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, today we brought, well, you know what? I'm turning this part of the show over to JR.
Okay.
I like to the one.
Y'all, so like Elise said, we this is our spotlight where we talk to our artists, and I'm so hyped to talk about Tamisha. I'm so hyped to talk to you. You don't understand. Like, I'm a fan. I know you just saw the video that I just put up of me going off. That's when I became a fan of yours, to
Oh
be
my
honest, because when I heard the song, I was like, now who is this girl now? Now wait a minute, who is this girl? Like, wait a
Girl,
minute.
now.
I'm like, yes, because I'm like, I haven't heard because I know Carmen and I know, I know that. So I was like, this is a different voice. This is giving me a little bit more church for me. I'm like, who is this girl? And then I was like, oh, this is Tamisha. And then when y'all did Steal My Joy, I'm telling you, y'all went to every church that I have been to on that record. I swear. So when Elise was like, yo, I'm gonna get Tamisha to come on. And then when you came to North Carolina and y'all did it at the show, oh, I was losing my mind in the back. I don't know if you saw me with my yellow glasses on, but I was going off.
Just having a good time. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Going off. I was like, like going off. So when Elise was like, yo, we gonna get her to come on the show, and I was like, word? And she was like, yeah, I got her to come on the show. So I was like, cool. So I was like, we gonna talk about Good For Me? She was like, yes. I was like, oh, okay then. I was like, okay. And then the video and all that good stuff. But what we like to talk about with people is what inspired this song for you, and where was your mindset and all that good stuff. But really, what was the inspiration for this song?
Oh my Lord, let's get into it. Inspiration for the song was actually, it wasn't actually a relationship, but it was actually somebody that I knew as a, musician. I am a musician, so I am degreed. I have 2 music degrees, which is a little known fact. A lot of people don't know that.
Come on.
I have 2 music degrees. And so at the time I was working with a whole bunch of bands and, just of course, recording, doing studio vocals, all that kind of stuff. This guy was actually a booking agent here in the Raleigh-Durham area. And he worked with all of the bands and everything. And he worked with the band I worked with. And we had never had a real conversation. Fast forward, I'll tell you a short story. Fast forward, I saw him at a concert after, working, not really working directly with him, but he was the guy that was handling all that business and everything. But I saw him at a concert and we literally locked eyes. And I don't know if you know or have ever had a situation where it's the kind of thing of there's a whole lot happening around you. Mind you, we're at a concert. So there's music, there's people talking, people drinking, people yelling, the whole nine.
Yeah.
It was so euphoric. It was all as if none of that was happening around us. That's how locked into each other we were. And we were talking.
I want that moment, but go ahead.
Come on. I've only had that moment once. But literally, that's literally the beginnings of that song and how that song came to be. I literally, after having that conversation with him that night and exchanging numbers, I went home, and as I, of course, was driving home, the melody came to me, and I couldn't shake that melody for nothing. So obviously I get home, I sit down at, my little keyboard at the time, And I was like, since the day, it just kept coming, just kept coming. I met you. So I was like, this is something. So I literally penned probably, I think it was the chorus, first verse, and part of the second verse. And then I took it to who is my partner, Joel Holloway. And the rest is history, honey. I added that second verse of the bridge, and that was it. So yeah.
Gee, so was it like also with your inspiration, was it a song that actually inspired something like this as well? Like, because the way it is, I'm gonna tell you for me, when I heard this, I got really Faith and I got Kelly Price, like both of their debuts.
That's interesting.
I got that. Like, I felt like all this love and you complete me type of vibe. So when I saw the video, I was like, was she inspired by, like, it could have fit like on Faith's debut. Like, it felt like that. Like that from like Come On Over all the way to the end, this song could have fit right in there. So I was like, was she inspired by a little bit of Faith, a little bit?
Here's what I'll tell you. There's a whole lot of influence when it comes to the song. So as the song began to develop and we begin to, really, kind of flush it out, and it became obviously what it is today, because I was performing it long. That song is like 20 years old. I was performing it long before I ever recorded it.
Wow.
Yes. Performing it long before I ever recorded it. And of course, that's the backstory to it. But the musical influences are Kashif, who is one of my favorite producers.
Oh, God.
Yes. DeBarge.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Oh, yeah.
One of the influences for the song, I don't know if you can recall any of the song, but towards the end of the song where I start saying, I like the way you comb your hair, like the stylish clothes you wear, all that kind of stuff. That's DeBarge. That's a heavy DeBarge influence, obviously. Love them. But and Kashif, so I don't know if you remember, well, actually, let's go back further than Kashif. Mother's Finest did a song called Love Changes, right? They made R&B jam. Come on, it's a jam.
We talked about that show. Somebody picked that for our other show to talk about one of their favorite songs early in the song.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of my favorite jams. And so that's also an influence for, of course, how I perform it, how I sing it. It really influenced somewhat of the writing. And then, got to give shout out to what is it? BET, not BET, but Video Soul, Midnight Love, all of those shows, those shows on. So the videos back then were just so, in my opinion, very intentional about telling the story. Not that today's videos aren't, but when it was about love, you hear the lyrics, you hear, the music, but you also get the storyline. So it was important to me with the video to really capture, one, I'll say, the innocence of it. Because I've had people ask me questions like, so y'all was bumping and grinding, like, stuff like that. I'm like, it wasn't even like that. It literally was just a genuine connection that I had with this other human being, this other person, which it turned out to be obviously a love relationship. But you know what I'm saying? That's literally where it came from. And I wanted to tell the story very almost elementary, like. That was the idea behind it. When we were in school, it's the kind of thing, I don't know, I'm dating myself, telling my age. But when I was in school, it was the kind of thing of where, if you like somebody or they like you, the boys like you, they just write you a note and check yes or no.
Yes, you like me, yes, no, or maybe. Like,
maybe. What? Exactly. So that's the whole, I would say, somewhat vibe of what good for me is kind of is, right? Obviously, girl meets boy, guy meets girl, and they kind of start this, infatuation and this love relationship of getting to know one another. And again, it was just important to me to tell that story, you know what I'm saying? And also couple that, like I said, with a lot of my musical influences, but like definitely Mother's Finest, Kashif, because she redid Love Changes with Melissa Morgan, who's another favorite vocalist of mine from
Yes.
it's the 80s sound. So it's like that old school, you know, R&B flavor. And
Yes.
that's me. Like that's where I come from. I was born in the 70s, but I'm an 80s baby because that's the music I listen to. You know what I mean? So Sylvester Williams, this was before Kelly Price and Faith, which those also, you know, vocalists that I absolutely love.
Get Big Vesta. That song actually does give Big Vesta energy, actually.
Yes, now saying it, yes.
Yeah, Vesta's an R&B rep, one of our faves, for
Yes,
sure.
love
So
her.
it did give. Now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, I love that.
These are like some of my biggest influences as far as music. I tell the story all the time, and people are always laughing. But like, I grew up obviously in a household with a pastor and an evangelist, and so church. If you hear the church sound in "Still My Joy," absolutely, you know.
Yes.
So you're gonna hear that, but I grew up not listening to a lot of let me not say that. We snuck and listened to a lot of R&B because we weren't supposed to be listening to it in
right.
our, you know, we were heavy on the Clark sisters, the Hawkins family, like Tremaine Hawkins, the Edwards, and, you know, all of those kinds of artists, you know, gospel artists, we listened to them, Winans and Commission, and you know, just so many, the Daryl Coleys, you know, really listening to a lot of that stuff. And so that's where the big church sound comes from, truthfully.
Oh, you can definitely even tell from the opening of the piano of this song. Like, I was like, wait, we about to get a hymn right quick? Like, for real. Like, I was just like, yo, like, just those pianos, like, it gave you that church from the beginning. That's why I was just like, where we going with it? Because let me tell you, when I heard it back in 2017, because obviously big foreign exchange fans, you know what I'm saying? So when they came out with that, was it a greatest hits or was it just it got everybody that was part of the crew on it?
For Still My Joy?
No, for the Hide and Seek project.
Ah, okay. So yeah, so Hide and Seek was a compilation that Effie did with, and I'm trying to remember the name of the label over in the UK in London, but they partnered with them to put that compilation out. And so what it was is just a compilation of FE's, some of their favorite voices and artists that they've either worked with or that they just love their sound.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Lucky me, I honestly probably, I don't know, like they were making selections. I brought my song to Fontaine. I literally just wanted him to hear it. And because, you know, people have been asking me, like, are you going to put music out? Are you doing music? And I'm like, I'm always doing music. You know, I'm always writing. Even if you never heard me put anything out, I'm always writing. And so I wanted Fontaine to hear it. So I took it to Fontaine, let him hear it. And he immediately said to me, he's like, yo, you got a jam. That's an R&B jam. Like, R&B. How does he say straight R&B or straight R&B? But he was like, yeah, you got an R&B jam. So I was like, okay. And so, you know, silly me, you know, artists, we're very sensitive about our music and everything. And I started to question, so I really want to put this out or whatever. Fonte tapped me and was just like, yo, he was like, I think I got a place for the jam. And I was like, okay, cool. And that's how Good For Me ended up on Hide and Seek.
Wow. Because when I had it and I was listening, because it's Tonight We Ride is before you. Yep. And it's like, it's that. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then it comes to the, and I was like, wait a minute, I know that voice. I was like, that's Nisha from Still My Joy. Yeah. I said, come on. So I just sat there and I'm listening. I'm like, I don't want to stop. Repeat. Like, it was my favorite joint. Like, I'm sorry, y'all, but I know there's other people on there, but I only listened to Good For Me afterwards. I did. I'm sorry. Like, I know when Fonte see to be like, for real, nigga, that's what we doing. but for real, I love the song so much because, like Elisa said, it's a me song because it's so it's so sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a sweet. It felt like a
Yeah.
first date. You know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I
And
mean?
going
Like
back, yeah, and going back to what Tamisha said about kind of the simplicity of the story, I like that because I don't, it just has this catchiness. Like it's a song I can't listen to it one time. I run it back. It's like
yes,
I met you, I can't. But I'm like
Yes.
it's yeah.
Yeah. It's like I was having a conversation the other day. I was like, people be complicated love. Love ain't that complicated. Well,
Yeah.
maybe it is. I don't know. But I mean, again, to me, like when it comes to writing, sometimes we can be as artists, we can be so complex, but a lot of time, and I have to stop myself a lot of times from like going down that rabbit hole. Like, you don't have to be so complex. It can be simple, just simple concept.
they're very
Just
simple.
kind of map that thing out. But that thing, I tell people that thing was real because I thought for sure dude was gonna be the one. I was like, he's it. This is it. Mama, we getting married. This is it. But that won't it.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
But
all
I
good.
think
We're still friends. We still friends.
oh,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
But
okay.
I think
I'm about to
when
be like, do I need to go in right quick? Like you
Right.
done messed up, player.
that was so aggressive. But yeah, I could definitely relate because I'm a writer
Uh-huh.
and I don't write songs, but I write. And when I was writing my last book, I couldn't get through it because I was trying to complicate everything and trying to write a little bit and examine it. And
Yeah.
then my friend was like, stop that. Just write. And
Yep.
then you can go back, make things make sense. She's like, you're a better writer than you give yourself credit for. Just write it and you can always go back. You can change anything if you want to. Just don't get
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that was me, but like with Good For Me, that didn't happen at all. It literally
Don't you love that?
I was talking to Fonte a couple of days ago and I told him like, and we can talk about the new music that's coming because there's new music coming. But I told him, I said, it's so crazy when when you're in a zone because the song almost writes itself. And literally that's what happened with Good For Me. The song wrote itself. It just can't, it flowed right out of me. The melodies kept coming the whole nine. It was just, I was like, man, this is divine. And so, like I said, those same influences that, that we talked about for Good For Me, those are some of the same influences that you'll probably hear a lot of, as far as the new music. Like, I absolutely adore the 80s, y'all. I adore 80s music. I'm
That's
just like,
my mother
oh my
too.
gosh. The synth and the what do you call it? The keyboard bass was huge, like during that time. Like
Yeah.
I worked a lot with Tom Brown. So little known fact, Tom Brown, who wrote Jamaica Funk, used to be my trumpet instructor in college. And
Wow.
that's my introduction to him and how I got to know him. And lucky me, I was 19 years old. He would come to our, he's a big influence too. He came to a jazz studies rehearsal, jazz vocal ensemble rehearsal at NCCU. So I went to Central and he listened to all of the vocalists sing. And when it was all said and done, he asked me to stay after class. And I was like, okay, cool. He literally offered me a small contract to go on the road with him to do some spot dates with him and Roy Ayers. I was 19, y'all. 19.
Woo.
I was like, I got to drop out of school now. He was like, no. This is just spot dates. We're not dropping out of school. But
yeah.
story, like that sound is a part of what has shaped me as a vocalist, as a musician, as a singer-songwriter. The 80s sound, man.
I love it because you can tell in this song, I love the instruments are shining because at least know I'm about to go there. That horn in this, baby, baby, I love horns, period. So when that came in and I know the point it come in at 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Come on.
Boom.
You better know.
When that horn came in, I said this joint took it into overdrive. So you could tell the musicality of that too. And for you to say you went with Roy Ayers Tom Brown, like you, it obviously it's gonna come across to you, and it's an influence for sure. And you, and in the '80s, the musicians shined during that time. You know what I'm saying? So you can hear all of those instruments. Like in the video, I love how you are singing and you have all your people behind you on the drums, on the horn, on this, and you just singing. And I'm like, it was a time where we wanted to know who's playing the bass, who's playing this, who's playing that. And that's why, again, I love the video so much because it was so, first of all, it was in a bar. It started in a bar. So I was happy with that. Hey, y'all. And, and I was happy with that. So
you finally got to see my city, JR. And then
right. That's right. Right. So it was like, oh yeah, I know this. I like Elise showed me this. I was like, okay, I know this. I was so it was just like that because I was hitting Elise like, I know what this is. And she like, really? Like, really? Yeah. So it was just the whole video. I loved it because it told the story. It was so cute. And then just the ending of you just singing and you got the musicians behind you. We don't even have that anymore. So for me, that was just like, I was like, play it again, and I was at work, and I was just like, oh, shoot, I gotta work. Wait a minute. I'm sitting there watching this video. Girl, you probably got a lot of views just from me. So I love the video, and then I love the musicality of it because, and now it makes sense. Yo, you out here, yo. You are out here. Really, Roy Ayers, nobody can say that at 19. Like, not a lot of people can. And glad that they can.
I was waiting for it because you've been real nice. I was waiting for you to be a little salty. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I had to give it. I'm sorry. I had to give a little.
All good. Listen, be you. But it's important to me too to also showcase that because all of the music on Good For Me is live instrumentation. There's nothing that's what am I trying to say? Nothing
programmed or
in this, as far as a producer goes, like the producer is me, right? The producer is my partner who did the music or whatever. I literally wrote the melody, and the lyrics to the song. And, of course, us together came up with, again, what you hear as far as the recording. But it was important. Everything you see, there was a rhyme or a reason for it. It was important that I do it in Durham because I'm a Bull City native. Durham is my home. Yeah. Born and raised, in Durham. And so it was really important that I do it in Durham and, showcase that backdrop where we're on the roof with the band, of just, the live instrumentation. And actually two of the band members, actually, the guy on the keys, that's my partner, Joel Holloway, who actually wrote the music. And then the bass player in the video, who's to the far, so behind me, to my far left. He actually played bass on the recording and he engineered the session where we actually did the recording. So I wanted a certain vibe again to the video, and I wanted also people that just kind of understand and got the vision, right, to be a part of everything. And so I'm excited that it has gotten the love that it's gotten. And I'm excited when people are like, yo, I hear your influences, like I can tell you was dabbling a little bit in this or in that. I absolutely adore that. I don't claim to be like the big music head or whatever. I love what I love. I call myself eclectic because I listen to quite a bit of music. From gospel. I'm a jazz head. I love jazz. So you can find me listening to some Miles Davis. You can find me listening to North Carolina native, John Coltrane, you know what I mean? A little Nina Simone. You can find me listening to a lot, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that. I got Carmen McRae on the wall. one of my favorite vocalists. And so, and besides, of course I studied jazz as well. So those are also elements that, I'm really proud of to, utilize these kinds of tools or these things in the music. And I'm like I said, even more excited when people get it, when they get it. Amazing.
Oh yes, and I feel like when it's from the heart, it reaches the heart. And you had this quote that you said, "I want my listeners to hear my heart."
Yes.
And you absolutely do. You know what I mean? Like you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? And it's so real and just so it's like you said, I want that. I want that in that video. What you had and what that was, I was like, can I get this, please?
Can I
Like,
get
I
this?
want that. Like, it's so sweet. And you can tell, and like I said, when it's from the heart, it reaches the heart. And it reached mine for real, for real. That's why I could not wait for us to get on this joint for real. I've been wanting to talk to you about Steal My Joy for the longest. And then I said, well, because I was going to tell Fonte when I talked about it with him, but God had it in the cards that you was going to be able to come on the show and I was going to be able to tell you myself. And I was like, I got to tell her because I love your voice. And it's like literally one of my favorite voices because I love when you did Aretha's Baby, I Love You.
Oh, yeah.
That's in my favorites on YouTube. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And then when you did What's Going On.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't play when it comes to Marvin. And a lot of people done did it, and I done been now. Wait a minute now. But the way you did it, and you did it your own, but you still gave it that Marvin feeling. I was like, she is dope. I was like, Elise, just get ready for me because I'm gonna stand for her a little bit.
You did warn me.
I really am.
I was warned, but yeah.
Yes. I was just like, I'm gonna stand for her a little bit because I love your voice. I'm a person that love voices. You know what I'm saying? And like, because Gladys is my favorite singer, period. So I love her voice, and it's just so rich. And your voice reminds me of that. And it's just like so rich and just so, it just sticks on me when I be like, I don't want it to come off. Like that's how much. So when I heard this, and then Elise was like, yo, she coming out with a video. I said, when now? I was like, has it been out? She was like, no, it's coming out. And I was like, oh, word, when? She was like, well, we're posting it on R&B Rap, so you will see it. I was like, oh, okay, I got it. Okay, cool. And when I watched it, I said, oh my God, it gave me what the song is. Because now people are doing videos that don't even make sense with the song. So now to have yours, it made complete sense. And it was just so smooth. And I swear, I played it. I just kept replaying like I told you. But then I said, wait a minute, I'm at work. I need to chill. Like, for real. Like, I need to chill. I need to chill. But it's such a great song. Like, ever since we said we was going to do the show, even though I couldn't stop playing it then, but I really can't stop playing it now. Like, I really have been blasting it on my way home. So I love this record so much.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me, because I, like you, at least like you just said, like, sometimes as artists, we question, as writers, we question, like, is this good enough? Like, you go start being over analytical about things.
Yeah.
And so I was like that with the video. I will not lie, that video almost didn't come out for a second. I told Fonte that the other day. I was like, I almost didn't put it out. He was like, why? And I was like being over analytical about it. Well, maybe I didn't tell the story like I really needed to. Can you follow the storyline? That kind of thing. And so, of course, my partner was like, hey, check this out. I'm back down. The song is fine.
Yes.
Just put the video out. It's fine. You told the story the exact way you wanted it. Just put it out, and the rest will be fine. And it's crazy. I didn't have any expectations, honestly. And I know that probably sounds crazy saying I had no expectations. I was like, this was unfinished business for me. I said, before I can move on and put the rest of this brand new music out, I have unfinished business with good for me, because when I initially released it, which was the same year it came out on the compilation, I then released it as just a single myself, right?
Right.
I wanted to do a visual with it at that time, but I got all of these different ideas and things of what you want to do. But at the same time, I believe we weren't, were we still touring? We weren't still touring at the time, but we were having, Effie was still on the road. We were traveling. We'd have spot dates here. And aside from that, I was working with so many other people, other bands, studio work. I did a whole, what is it? Well, I did that a little later on, but a whole, soundtrack for an independent film. Like, when I tell you I was working, I have been working. And so it was the kind of thing of where we just didn't have the opportunity to really pull together and put a visual out. And I wanted to do that. And so I just finally said, you know what, 2023 is it. We're going to put this visual out. We're going to do it. And so got to pull a couple of folks together, and we made it happen. And, I'm glad, that I was able to do that. Like, I literally referenced, I went back and like did my homework. I was watching videos, and these don't have to do, anything with, they're more hip hop than they are R&B or anything like that. But like Kid Play, like these people are influences. Like Play and I used to work together at a church in Durham, actually, Compassion Ministries. Carl Kinney. Are you familiar with Carl Kinney, Elise?
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I was his worship leader at one point, and Chris Play, what is it? Chris Martin, I think it is, used to be his youth leader there at the church. So I, got to know him, and have been able to kind of chop it up with him, and just like, starstruck most of the time. Like, I'm a huge fan, but like watching their videos and going back to like kind of studying, what's his name, Herbie Lovebug, that used to be, producer, writer. He did a lot of stuff with Salt and Pepper as well. But a lot of these videos we used to get back in the day, it was him behind a lot of, hip hop videos and things like that. Even some, I believe, R&B as well. I know for certain, a lot of the stuff with Salt and Pepper, a few of the things with Kid and Play for sure. And so, like, I was doing my homework. I was like, I want this video to be, I just want people to get it. Like I said, the song is simple, so I thought people would definitely get it, but it was important to me to really tell the story. You know what I mean? And the videos from back in the day, like the Mint can, oh man, I'm going for days, y'all. I got folks in the arsenal. We can talk about listen, honey, listen, just pull them out, just all these influences of, different styles of music, but mainly, like I said, the 80s sound is like really big. It's a huge influence on me and my writing style and even my sound. So it's, again, an old school, but somewhat of a new school flavor, So, but yeah.
Speaking of those videos, how great was the whole Everybody Get Up and Shake Your Thing whole like continuation series? That was I famously don't really like videos, but that was
and don't.
Yeah.
Oh, I said and don't.
And it's so many episodes. Elise will she like, I hate that medium. Like, she does not a big fan of music videos at all. So for her,
but when they're done right,
yeah.
I'm all for it. It's just a medium that just doesn't get the attention and the respect behind it. And so you kind of get trashed. But when they're good, you can tell, and I'm with those. And I love your video, and it's our hometown. Like, I just yeah.
Babyface, I will also say, is a huge influence when it comes to writing love songs.
Oh yes.
There's I'm paraphrasing, but there's an interview he did where he talked about I guess somewhat his approach to writing. He becomes that little boy in second grade who got rejected by a girl that he liked.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, we got whip man, listen. We got all these love songs. by Babyface, but like his approach is unique, to how he crafts these love songs or songs in general. He's an amazing songwriter, but like I listen to like those prolific songwriters. Gosh, what's the other one? Diane. Oh man, Diane Warren. I think it's her name.
Diane Warren. Yeah.
I follow and listen and try to pattern myself after a lot of these artists, these songwriters. And, I told my dad, I was like, hopefully one day, somebody will be sitting and talking about me as a prolific songwriter.
They can start with this. The heck?
we can, there's a sprinkle right here.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. But like that's become my thing. And I'll even say like I was saying earlier, sometimes I kind of go out there and I'm over analytical, of my art, and have to be real back in. Sometimes it's a text like Fonte, help, somebody help. And a few of my friends are just like, just back away from it, come back.
Yeah.
You come back to it with some fresh ears, fresh eyes. Sometimes you're able to move forward and not get stuck. And so I'm thankful, grateful.
So
go ahead.
So what would you say now? Is this your best song you ever written?
I could say that, but I won't say that. And the reason is because
I like that.
This new music, man, oh man.
That's what I was trying to get out of you, to see like what kind of flavors we gonna get. Like,
but you can't tell people to pick a favorite child. Everyone has a different thing that makes them great. True. That you love about them, but it's different.
No, I could say that, but I won't say that. I think like you just said, every one of them are unique in their own right. There's just something about good for me is a feel good. It just feels.
Yes.
It is very catchy.
You can sway to it. It's a sway song.
Yeah.
It's very, the melody is very catchy, but it just, from like sometimes when I'm performing it live on stage, I just kind of get lost in even the instruments. Just
that's me. Oh yes.
For me, it's about freedom. Like, when I'm performing it, it's about freedom. And I tell everybody, just, obviously don't overpower what I'm doing, but be as free as you want, and if you feel, do it. Like, just be free. Like a lot of times when you're on stage, there's a set, like, hey, we're doing this, a hard, but and there is, right, in terms of, how you format your show and everything. But for me, I love freedom. I want to be free to, if I want to sing in the rafters this today, let's do that. You know what I mean? Or if they want to kind of, I'm about to go into music theory. I was about to say they want to play, inversions or whatever they want to do, fine, do all of that. But just be free. The song, be free with it, and it just feels so good. It feels good, and so again, this newer music, somewhat different approach with it.
Okay.
I have been working a lot with a longtime childhood friend of mine who is also a collaborator, singer with the Foreign Exchange, and has been with Lil Brother for a long time.
So you and Darren might have a joint together.
Yes, Darian Brockington.
Yo!
I have Darian.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. He's a friend of the show. Yes. Oh, yes.
He's been on. We trying to get all of y'all. We done got we got two. We talked to Carmen on our radio show.
Yeah.
We trying to work on Psy. That's happening. So we
can
get it.
Yes, because Zoe is like a third member of the R&B Reps.
I'm sure he is. Oh my
Zoe
God.
done been on the show like 7 times already.
7. No, it's 7.
Is it
Yeah.
7? Oh my God.
Okay.
He's such a wealth of knowledge. Oh my God.
He is.
Such
Oh,
oh my gosh. I call him and him, actually, him, Fonte, and Carmen are like walking jukeboxes.
Yes.
I mean, they know so much music. And, you know, being on the road with them, I was just a sponge. Like, I know a lot of music too, because I obviously have studied and have listened to a lot, but just a sponge absorbing, you know, a lot of what they know, and, you know, how they studied records. Like, it tickles me, the skits that they do in their videos as well. So I did take a page out of their book for the way that, you know, I've watched FE, you know, do their videos. I told Fonte the other day, I was like, I've been to the school of the foreign exchange, literally watching them, you know, execute how they want their record done, you know, all the way down to sitting in, you know, on the writing of it and everything. Like, we were, Carmen, myself, and Tay were in the studio the night that Still My Joy was being written. And we, you know, were singing that. So on that chorus, you hear that's not just me and Tay, that's Carmen too. So me, Tay, and Carmen, we were in the studio that night.
oh shit! I done learned something new today. God damn it!
30 in the morning, we were at Fonte's house, late night, and just up singing and recording. And like, I'm so grateful because, you know, I was allowed, and I say allowed because, you know, most of their writing is done in-house. You know, it's usually Tay, and to be even invited to write on a song, you know, for Zoe's record, or, you know, whatever, was just
Right.
oh, I get to, okay, cool, let's do this. You know what I mean? So just love, man, absolute love. But yeah, you know, such a wealth of knowledge. But Darian Brockington has been my friend since I was 6th grade. He was a year ahead of me. So he was with my brother. We went to Rochester Middle School. I was 6th grade, he was 7th grade. And we have been like this since that time. And I was telling him the other day, I said, it's crazy how God brings things full circle. Because we sang together, like, as, you know, kids growing up. There wasn't a time that you saw him that you didn't see me. We knew we were going to be the next BB and CC Winans, which low key was real. Look, they were gospel, but they was like R&B.
Yes, they was. Yes, they were.
Okay, yeah. I'm lost without you. Really, come on.
Lord's right. Yes, and that's my favorite song from them. That is an R&B record, quiet
as kept. You hear me? That is a song.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. So crazy. BB Winans is another amazing. He's an amazing songwriter. Like,
he don't get his credit like that either.
He really does not. He doesn't. I did some. So what's her name? Melba Moore came to Durham some time ago as a guest, special guest for Tom Brown on the show. And, you know, occasionally Tom will still reach out to me nowadays and say, hey, I got a show, need vocals. Can you come do vocals for the show? And I'm like, yeah, cool. This particular time, Melba Moore came. And
was it the one at the Haytime?
Yes, that was the one.
I was there. Me and my for that whole series. So that's where they had Norm Connors, and then they had the Roy Ayers, they had Gene Carn, Melba Moore. Me and my mom did the catering for the green room, so we got to hang out with all those people.
So, honey, we was eating y'all's food.
Yeah.
Okay, but yes. So
okay.
I got hired, and at the time, Joel, my partner, his sister, we were all in a group called Soul Chemistry. So that's still our group, my band name, basically. And so I got called. I called them. I was like, "Yo, we got an opportunity to do backs for Melba Moore," and she's another wealth of knowledge. I didn't know at the time, but I always post a song every Black History Month, whenever I can. So I'm always posting Lift Every Voice and Sing. And so there's a version of it that was on her, God, what's the name of the record? I think it was her self-titled record, Melba Moore, 1980, 1987, 19 something. It's on my page, on my Facebook, on my Instagram page, but I post it often because I really love the song. But more than that, I love the arrangement that BB Winans did. And at the time, I didn't know it was him. And just kind of in conversation with Melba Moore at that time. And then even after that, like on my page, she's like, thank BB again, because that's his arrangement of Lift Every Voice.
Yes.
And that joint is cold because it's got all the stars on it. Bobby Brown is even on this jam, and he sounds amazing.
Yes. Oh, okay. I know. Oh, I know what you talking about. The Soul Exposed.
I think that's the one. Yep.
Yeah, it came out in 1990. Yes.
Is it 90? Okay.
Yes.
I was thinking it was 1980 something. But
I had to think about it because I was like, yes. And once you said that with Bobby, I was like, that's it. That's it. Oh my God.
They are a savant with the dates. Like off the top. Like here.
I just had to, and once she said that, I was like, and then my grandmother.
Date. And I'm like,
and my late grandma would have been mad because she loves Melba Moore. That's one of her favorite girls. God bless her soul. She loved her. So you was talking about her, and I was sitting there like, and now my grandma probably was like, sir, like, sir, you better act like you know this. Like, and I was like, lift every voice. Yep. I was like, yep, it was the Soul Exposed. Yep.
That is my favorite, my absolute favorite arrangement of that song. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And not knowing that he obviously did the actual song, or it was his arrangement of it. But yeah, amazing. But anyway, I can talk y'all to death about all of my influences or people that I regularly listen to their writing, their arranging style. But I won't do that. The same token, yeah. So like having the opportunity to like even work with her was, I mean, it was that one time when she came here, but even that in itself, like she was imparting wisdom, telling us what to do. Like, you want longevity in this. This is how you need to, move.
Yeah.
So, whole bunch of.
So hyped. I'm so hyped. It's about you and Darian. Like, yeah, like Darian, my new best friend. He knows. He said it. Like when we saw each other after the winter calling, he was like, "Bye, best friend." I was like, "Bye, Darian." Like,
yeah, that's my buddy. That's my buddy. But yeah,
he's so cool.
He has been. It's crazy because he's always telling the story that I taught him how to sing, and I said, "Darian, stop telling people that lie. I did not teach you how to sing, child. We was both kids in my parents' living room with that singer machine trying to sing, not trying to." But no, he tells the story that like when we were younger, I taught him how to use his voice, and it's so crazy that everything has come full circle. He's now very instrumental in helping me do the exact same thing. And obviously I know how to sing, I know how to use my voice, but there's some things intricately that Darian does that's just so amazing, and he's helping me to do those things. And so you'll hear a lot of that. You'll hear me in a different light. I'll say you're still gonna get the Shaka Khan vocals can squall with the rest of them, honey. You'll get that. But you're also gonna get a more subtle, record. It's called While I Wait, and so it tells a story as well. And so this is a precursor to what is coming next year. So I won't let that cat out the bag yet. But
yeah. You already got me hyped enough.
Yeah, so I got some things coming. Some things I've been really, really working on. Like I always go back to the pandemic because the pandemic helped us all sit down and really either focus, deal with self, whatever you needed to do. Yes. And for me, it was like a come to Jesus, and it was like, okay, girl, now you got time. You can actually craft this music. You can write this music. What you gonna do? And so that is what I have been doing. I have been writing, refining, what I already have, making it better, getting ready for shows, putting the music together with the band, and whole nine. You're gonna you'll hear Al Strong. That's Al Strong on horns on Good For Me. That's him. That's Al.
I was gonna ask you too, like who was on horn, but we got somewhere else, and I was like, who is on?
That's Al Strong. Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yo, I can't help. I can't stop smiling. I'm sorry.
So yeah, you'll get to hear a lot more. You'll hear a little bit of both for the new music. So you'll hear the live instrumentation, but you'll also hear just like studio, like track record, type of vibe, and all of it is just, it's love. More feel good, more how can I say, like really, I'm being very vulnerable, like, which is not something that you would hear and or see a lot of from me, because I'm very private and I don't share a lot outwardly. But with the new music, I was like, Fonte always said, you're gonna have to, open up. And I ain't saying tell everybody all your business, but you want to be as authentic as possible, because that's what draws people. They want authenticity, and authenticity is the currency. And those of us that are from Durham, honey, we is as authentic as they come.
And is.
At Bull City, baby. Yay. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. We're working on the first release as early as August. So mid to late August. I'm not gonna put the date out just yet, but I'm gonna say mid to late August, because that is our goal right now, which is to get that out. So here's another one I think that everybody is going to absolutely love. I love love. I love talking about love. I love being in love. I'm not right now, but one day,
One day, somebody.
One day.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thank you for hanging out with us. And I tell you something funny. So JR, it bugs him out, because when we first started the show and we were trying to get guests together and stuff, and I was like, oh, we can get Snow or whatever. And he was like, how you gonna do that? I was like, because I know him. and then he said something about my pay. I was like, that's my friend. So
yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, Tamisha. I was like, I know her. I know her a long time. Like, I know her.
It's very weird. It's very weird. So it was just like a lot of these people just like, she like, we can get them, and I'm like, how? And she like, hello, I went to school with them. Like, I know them. Like, I'm like, oh shoot. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I met Fonte and he was like, oh nigga, I know what y'all doing. I see what. So I was like, Fonte, when you gonna come on the show? He said, chill out. I'll be there. Don't you worry.
That, and if I did help, let's get some gas. So it's just, it's cool to have fam out there in the world.
Yes.
Doing great things.
That I can go crazy off and stand every last one of y'all. Cause that's what I do. Like, I really do. Like, when you was up there singing "Still My Joy," girl, I was getting my complete life. Zoe was just, that's why he pointed at me. He was like, I see you. Like, he was like, I see you losing it over there. I was like, so I love this record. And it was he's gonna come out and sing it. I was like, oh God, Jesus.
Well, actually, I do think he knows, because I have been thanking him for months for actually putting that show together, because truthfully speaking, they were only doing everything on, the record, the for Paul. And so, he reached out to me and was just like, hey, we're going to be in your city. You coming to the show? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. Come on. Family support, family. And he was like, well, what do you think about performing, Still My Joy? It ain't nothing to think about. We absolutely gonna do it. I told him yes. And I was grateful, because that was the first time I think that we've ever performed that song. We've never performed it on stage.
Wow.
All of the stuff I've ever done with them has been from, of course, either Love and Flying Colors or the Tales from the Land of Milk and Honey. That's the record I'm currently on. So we never, and obviously Still My Joy is on Zoe's record, Skybreak, but We've never done it. So that was the first time we ever performed it. And everybody was like, yo, we should have been performing this because it just went so hard. And it was kind of hard to get out of it because it was just it's just fun. It was just a vibe. So
it really was.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
My glasses fell off actually because I was going so hard in the audience.
Yeah. That's on my list, and I've been to a lot of concerts and shows, but I think that's the one my soul loved the most. That I just felt
Me too.
It was beautiful.
It was. Yeah, it was.
So many of us under one roof on one stage.
Oh my God.
Priceless. I was like, the people that didn't come are still saying, how did we not know about this? I was like, I don't know, y'all, but y'all missed it.
As soon as that date was announced, I was on it.
On it.
And Zoe kept telling us.
People come in town for it and everything.
Yeah. Zoe kept saying, Zoe was like, we gonna show out. What y'all gonna do? We showing out. And I was like, at least I want to surprise them for real, for real. So because the day me and her was like, yeah, I was like, sis, I'm coming down, we're going. She was like, and I was like, okay. I was like, okay. And then I was just, because then the night, I think we had we had Zoe like a week before we came to the show. And he was like, so JR, did you get your ticket yet? I was like, I don't know yet. And he was like, stop playing. And then Elise was like, yeah, I'm bringing some friends and all this kind of mess, kind of all that. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, then afterwards, after the show or whatever, Zoe was like, I knew you was coming, right? I was like, how? He was like, you brought your ticket and your name. I said, oh, shit.
You already knew.
I was like, oh, damn. I was like, I should have put another name, but I was like, yeah. So he was like, yeah, I knew you was coming. I was like, yeah, I thank God I did.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have been included. Like, and then the bonus was Nicolay was there.
Yep.
Nicolay live in Wilmington, so we don't get to see him like we might see Tay or me or Bags or even the musicians for the band or whatever. And so obviously it's just right up the way, but you don't really get to see Nick like that, unless you're seeing him online. But to even be there, all of us there,
it was a moment. It was a moment. And we interviewed Nicolay 2 days before.
Really?
Yes. And he was like, wait a minute, I just saw y'all. And he was like, yo, ain't tell me. We was like, well, we didn't want to say nothing because you might have said something to, Zoe or something. He was like, so the party with him, it was, man, me and Elise still talking about that joint. And that joint, it's like, what a moment. What a moment, man.
Man, so amazing. Yeah. Thank y'all for inviting me on. I hope I have done this justice.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Life is given.
Yeah. And we'll make sure to put information on how people can find you and find your music. We'll have all that available for the peoples. And we promote. So yeah, you're gonna be sick of us for a little bit, but it's fine. And
no, I won't. I'm a they y'all family now. Listen.
That's right.
Family. Like, I mean, at least you was already family, but y'all family. I mean, come on, y'all almost the entire family. Come on.
Yes.
Get D Brock up in here. Look, I'm gonna tell him, look, you need to go on and be on the show. Just go on and do it.
Come on back. Yes.
Come on for the one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks again to my Bull City and Eagle sister, Miss Tamisha. We thank you. Yes, all the animals.
Okay.
And land and air. But yes, we thank you. And we also thank all our viewers to keep rocking with us multiple times a week. And we love it. And we are family. We call our supporters our cousins. So bring us some more cousins. All right. And we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace.